Um, we'll come back to most exciting games to watch. I want to talk about, just in case we get strapped for time, players to watch in this region. Who are your players to watch?
BYU's got this guy Davies, who's just a phenomenal rebounder.
I'm glad you went there because that was actually on my players to not watch. Let's see. Throw up a little picture I got here. We couldn't get a picture of actual Brandon Davies. Well, we could, but we decided to go with this one instead. How do we feel about this? How do we feel about the Brandon Davies situation? For any non-basketball fans who just listen to my podcast to support me and don't really care about college basketball, he has been suspended by Brigham Young University for violating their honor code for having consensual premarital sex with a girl.
With a girlfriend.
With a girlfriend. BYU obviously being a Mormon school, how do we feel about his being suspended from the tournament?
Well, I think that it's sad for him, and I feel bad for him but he knows what he's signing up for. I mean, I don't know if he's Mormon or not. Maybe he just comes there to play basketball. I don't know. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But the school has a very strict honor code, and I actually find it kind of refreshing that they're sticking to it. And I know it sucks, BYU could have done really great things, and I just don't think that they're going to get there now because he's not playing. But I appreciate the fact that BYU is saying, no, this is what our honor code is, and you broke it, and you knew what the rules were. They weren't hidden from you, and we found out, and so it's over. There's so many other teams and so many other sports in college and everything where people are cheating constantly, like Ohio State, just
to go to your rival.
I have bring it up because I hate Ohio State, but I mean, there's so many people that cheat, and guys that do, and it's sad, but people that do way worse things, like guys that are getting in trouble for breaking and entering, like battery, abuse, like all this stuff, and they get suspended for like a game, and then they get to play again, and I'm proud of them. Jim Tressel, there you go. Like the $250,000 fine and miss 2 games.
He's gonna miss the opening kickoff. Is actually what.
Yeah, so I think it's good for them that they are sticking to their guns and saying, this is what our rules are and don't break them.
I've got a couple problems with it. First of all, I'm going to refute your point that you know what you're signing up for. When you're a high schooler, I don't think you know what you're signing up for as a college basketball player, because there's just so many scenarios and temptations that you don't know when you sign that letter. All you think is, I'm going there to play basketball.
But I think if you're going to BYU, you know what you're signing up for.
Yeah, come on.
If you're going to almost any other school in the country, there's gray, and I understand. If you're going to BYU, and I don't care if you're Mormon or not, I'm not Mormon, and I could probably read you half of without ever reading that honor roll thing, I could probably tell you half of what's on it. Just from, general knowledge of the world.
Yes, that's the thing, though.
And you don't have girls going after you at BYU.
I have no problem with Mormon standards. It's just that, I don't know if you know this, premarital sex also frowned upon in the Catholic religion. Yeah, let's take a look at some of the Catholic schools here. Ben Hansborough at Notre Dame. Let's take a look at whoever the star player is at Gonzaga.
St. John's.
So they have the same...
Tu Holloway at Xavier, and where's another...
So you know they...
Basically what I'm saying is, all these guys
that have conclusive proof that they have not.
Chris Wright at Georgetown, I will tell you, these guys are all knee-deep in freshman snatch. I mean, just...
Oh, the word.
And I just think that that's part of... I don't have a problem with you being held to a higher standard. I do have a problem with you being held to a different standard. It's not necessarily that not having premarital sex is anyone's higher standard. It's that Catholic schools and other religious schools don't enforce their religion upon their populace, as long as those rules don't violate moral or normal secular moral or law norms.
I just can't agree with you because I'm sorry, if you're on a team, you know what the rules are. You just do. Same with freaking Ohio State football players. They know they're not supposed to sell those things that they get for money. For saying, oh, we didn't know the rules, we didn't know. That's a bunch of bullshit. They knew what they were doing. This guy, he knows the rules, maybe he didn't think he was going to get caught, or maybe he thought, oh, it's not that big of a deal, they'll let it go. But rules are rules, and I applaud them for standing up for themselves.
I'm just saying...
I will say this, though. I totally agree with you. Sarah, with rules are rules, and you know what you're signing up for. But the way that they were acting like it was, that's the only thing I have a problem with, is like, oh, you know, everybody makes mistakes. Excuse me, how was that a mistake? Where was that was a mistake?
No.
I don't understand that, but like, oh, everyone makes mistakes, and hopefully he'll turn around, and you know, and like he was treated like as if he, like, you know, raped somebody or something, or did something really horrible.
I think he comes off looking a lot better because now the way that it happened. What is his year? Does anyone know if he's a sophomore, junior, senior?
I think he's kicked out of school, right?
Yes, but he could re-enroll another school immediately and play immediately.
Oh, wow.
Because he didn't violate any NCAA rules. Like your instance with Ohio State, they're violating those rules anywhere. No one except for BYU people have to live up to these standards.
No, I think the military academies.
Okay.
I think they have those too, but yeah.
The other thing is, I mean, your religion should not inhibit your ability to play college basketball, but we already make enough concessions for BYU. For instance, they have to play in a region where they can't play on Sunday. And I feel that there's a lot of things that are thrown out towards that school, and they don't do enough to kind of help their teams back. By holding him out of the tournament, they are costing the Mountain West Conference and themselves probably a lot of money. And I feel that just because one kid had sex, the fact that you're now telling 35 Mormon kids at your school they can't go on their Mormon mission because you felt that that was such an egregious violation he had to be off the team is kind of cutting off your nose to spite your face.
I have a question. How was he caught? They made it seem like he admitted doing it, which... He
did. They had twice a year they have a review just to where you meet with the chancellor or someone in that office to see if you're living up to your Mormon mission. And apparently he confessed. Whether they knew about it already and asked him about it, or whether he just confessed carte blanche, I don't know.
If he just confessed to it, I think I understand him getting kicked out of the team, but getting kicked out of the school, like if he didn't get caught and he just confessed, I think that's terrible. Like the kid tries to be an honest guy and he admits to doing something like this, and then you not only do you kick him out of the team, you kick him out of the school. That seems a little serious to me, but I mean, I don't really know. I could be wrong about that. And then another thing, like you said, they're punishing a couple Mormon kids. They're punishing like the whole BYU nation because, like, right after it happens, Amari Stoudemire put on his Twitter like, no one go to BYU. They kick out like a black brother for having sex. Like, look at what everyone else is like. I don't really agree with that, but it's true. It's gonna hurt their football team. It's gonna hurt their basketball team. They're not. I really honestly feel they're gonna lose a ton of recruits because these guys are gonna be scared. What if I have like a sip of an alcoholic beverage? Like that's against the honor code too. Can I not go there? I can't have sex. Like athletes are going to be afraid to go to BYU. They have really good sports teams. I think it'll hurt them a lot. Like I see what they're doing. And I see they don't want to violate their honor code, and it is good that they like stuck to their moral standards. But really, they're punishing everyone who's a fan of BYU sports.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to. They're going to have to more heavily rely on good Mormon players, like the Jimmer Fredette's that come in. I feel this is hurting him because now that they've lost 2 of their 3 games without this guy, people are like, yeah, Jimmer Fredette can score 50 like we thought, but obviously he wasn't doing it alone like we thought. I mean, I feel he's still the presumptive favorite for National Player of the Year, but I feel as though his stock is hurting because people are seeing, wait, there was more to this. There were other players that were allowing him to be the player that he was.
Yeah, but apparently without this guy, they've been blown out by New Mexico and San Diego State, so they're just not the same team without him.
Yeah.
I have them losing to Wofford. I have them going down. That's my alleged big upset in the first round, although I wouldn't consider that my biggest upset. I'd consider Morehead State over Louisville one because I don't think most people look at BYU right now and see a 3 seed.
Yeah.
Now, Wofford is not a great team. They actually played Xavier earlier this year, and it was one of the best games I've ever seen. It was the first time I've ever seen the trick where you have to intentionally miss a free throw and the guy tips it back in at the buzzer work.
Oh, nice.
First time I've ever seen that happen. So that was a good game. They're a good team, and I just think BYU is a team in free fall right now, and I think Wofford could easily catch them.
So what are some of your biggest upsets?
My 2 biggest upsets are Wofford over BYU and Morehead State over Louisville in the first round. I'm a little chalkier this year than I normally am, so there aren't that many. I've got Well, I'll discuss my other big upset coming up in the next region when we talk about it.
Oh,
But there's
We're not done?
there's some more. This is the third of 4 regions. We still
Oh,
got one more
I'm
region
sorry.
to go.
Let's
I'm
do it.
sorry.
Let's do the West region.